Hey, you're Dr. Jonathan Rose from that show. And I want to know, what does Swedenborg say about money? Is it good or bad, or what's going on with that?
All right.
And go.
Gosh, the whole topic of money is so important. And you know, there's that biblical thing that says the love of money is the root of all evil, or something like that. And so there was monastic traditions where they said you shouldn't have money, have this vow of poverty. That's more holy to not have anything. Swedenborg's take is interesting because he says that, first of all, your attitude toward your money is what makes a difference. If it's the most important thing to you, and you'd rather kill people or damage them or rob them or something to get your money, things are in the wrong place, and that's a curse for you. That money will be a curse for you. But if your heart is in the right place and you have compassion and it slots under your love of God and your love of the neighbor, it's a real blessing. It can actually be a blessing. He describes heaven as a place of great, wonderful wealth. And so wealth can be a very important way. People who don't have anything can't be as charitable as people who have some wealth.
Well, I think that I'm going to go for wealth then. Just kidding. I love it. So
that's why we're on the 44th floor.
That's right.
This is where the executive offices are.
So you're telling me that it's almost like your motive behind it that matters more than the distribution of it?
I know it's a shocking idea, isn't it? But the sheer thing itself, it's so typical of Swedenborg that it's just neutral in and of itself.
Right.
You know, can be a blessing, can be a curse. And different for different people, he says.
Yeah, and I love you're sort of getting to the edge of where he describes in Divine Providence that, you know, you may be saying, I want more money. Of course, everyone says that.
Yes, right.
But you don't know, only God knows, is that actually going to be a blessing or a curse for you? Because money can be very spiritually damaging because it lends itself to love of self and love of the world. But at the same time can accomplish good if you've got the right mindset. But I think it all comes down to, it's not that God is sitting there like, okay, nah, you can't quite handle it, I'm not giving you money. But he describes people in the stream of providence and says, if they're raised to high positions, they don't believe that they're more worthy than other people. If they're cast down, they don't think they're less worthy than other people, but trust that God will bring all things to a good end in the spiritual world.
That's right, and well put. And he says that the angels have the view that it's either losing or not getting something that wouldn't have been good for them anyway.
Yes. Right,
That's their attitude, and I try to aspire that, but it's hard to do sometimes when you had your heart set on something and then it doesn't materialize.
And it's not to say, I guess we could go on about this forever. It's not to say, I mean, there's times like below a certain threshold when you're not getting the necessities of life.
Oh my goodness.
I think that's a different
life
question.
Gets severely difficult.
That we're not saying like, you can't heat your house and feed your family. Just trust in the Lord. We're not saying that.
Yeah. And Swedenborg's a big fan of, he says you're not obligated to do it. It's just a free will offering of your heart. But actual charitable giving, what they call charitable giving, is a very good thing, you know, for a free will offering from your heart to help people, because there's people who struggle with poverty or don't have food or whatever, you know, people in all kinds of miserable situations. And you know, and so he's not just saying, oh, keep your money for yourself.
Because money means different things. It's like at a certain income level, money is a difference between like leisure and not leisure. But at the other times, it's food or not food. Those are very different things. So I think you'd have different discussions around those things spiritually. Anyway,
that's right.
Great.